All right, so my name is Derek, and for this project, um, I'm really interested in the mental health aspect when it comes to uh, people working in public safety, right? So I know that recently there's been a lot of things been happening with people working in public safety, and um, mental health seems to still be like a taboo subject um, when it comes to people talking about and or seeking help when it comes to those who are working in public safety, for instance, fire or police or ambulance. So yeah, like I said, I want this project to focus on that and to see if there's any help available for people who are in the public safety sector, so that they can find the help that they need when they need it. Uh, it seems that that there's a bunch of turmoil that has been going on lately, and with that, that's when public safety is needed, right? They don't get called out, to help people mow their lawns or to help people take out their trash or anything like that, right? They get called out in times of need where people are uh, in distress, whenever there's a fire, right? Or, like a house fire or even a car fire. And then, of course, the ambulance gets called out when there's when people are sick or injured. And police get called out whenever there's a crime that's either being committed or about to be committed or has been committed. And so these the people who are working in the public safety sector, they see a lot of things that the quote unquote normal everyday person does not see or experience. So my plan for this semester is to, or for this block, is to interview some people who work in the public safety sector to see if they would be willing to talk to me about what they deal with, and how they deal with it, or if they've seen others having you know symptoms like PTSD or anxiety or depression. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are going out there that we really don't see, but yet people, police officers and firefighters and people working on the ambulance do see. And I think that has, or that can have, a great impact on them. I'm also interested to know how this may affect their families, because I mean, how do you separate that, right? When one day you're at work, or let's say that a person in public safety is at work, and they see all this stuff that's going on, right? They go to a house fire, where there's a huge explosion or something, and they have to deal with multiple people with injuries, and sometimes worse maybe that there's I don't know if I dare say it, but like that there's a lot of gruesome things out there that they experience, and having to turn that off at the end of their shift, that's got to be extremely tedious, or difficult to be able to accomplish and do. So I'd also like to see how this affects their family life, to see how it affects their job, and to see if it still is a taboo subject that um, that people really don't talk about. And I know that back in the day, I've heard of stories that, hey, if you're not good enough for this job, if you can't handle it mentally and physically, then go do something else, right? And nowadays, that seems to be changing, and I'm hoping it's changing faster than um, has a good pace for the change to be more accepted. Um, I used to be in the military, and I know that when I was serving, um, and you needed some help, it was a little stressful, because I know that at times people would think, okay, well, if my CO, my commanding officer, right, if my CO finds out that I am seeing a therapist, or that I'm struggling to deal with this incident that happened, that that a lot of times they'd say, okay, well, you're not fit for duty, per se, right? So you are now discharged from the military. So I know that things, can have a negative impact on people, and the worrisome, or the worry of needing help and seeking help and wanting to get everything off your chest, mentally, has been a difficult process for people to go through. So hopefully nowadays things are more accepted. People are understanding that, hey, that there is a mental need, especially now after the pandemic. I know that people really struggle with the pandemic. So I would really like to find out how this has affected people. So that is my goal for this block of this semester, is to interview some people in public safety, see how that is, how they've dealt with things, and also find out if things are still not acceptable to talk about, or if they're making that process, that change, to say, hey, it's okay to go to find out, or to seek professional help when it comes to their mental health. So that's what I plan on doing. Wish me luck.